This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, well, thanks for being here. This is Jonathan Maley and Mark Vigilone from the ImageTech team, and today we're going to be talking about the CARES Act and the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP, and more specifically our pre-built solution for loan processing on the Nintex platform. So most folks that are watching this session today are already going to be familiar with the CARES Act and how this PPP program really works. Time really is of the essence here. Given the urgency around this PPP program, what we in Nintex wanted to do was come up with a pre-built solution that could deliver almost immediate time to value for banks and credit unions and those fintech companies that are authorized to do SBA PPP lending. So what you're going to see here today is that solution, and it leverages almost the entire Nintex process platform, all the way from ProMap to the form to workflow. We have document generation in there, as well as Nintex sign and ultimately robotic process automation. We're not going to show analytics as part of this demo, but there is analytics, and we can show that on another day. It was great to partner with Nintex on some of the building blocks for this demo. The Nintex team has put together a couple of pre-built assets like a form and a robot process, which are available at the Nintex gallery. You can go to gallery.nintex.com. There's no search, but you can browse the workflows and the bot flows, and then filter under finance and legal. So only disclaimer there is that they truly are building blocks. They're not polished final solutions, but as you'll see here, we were able to take those building blocks and extend them, customize them, based on actual use cases from banks. This is what those assets look like on gallery.nintex.com. And with that, Mark, I'd like to pass to you, and you can kind of kick off the demo here in ProMap.
All right, John, sounds great. I'm going to go ahead and share out my screen here. So there we go. Share that. Okay, should be up, and you should be looking at my ProMap right now, the process that we're going to run through. This particular process is designed out in ProMap, which is Nintex process mapping solution. So you can get an idea of the swim lanes, the actors, the roles who will be involved, the systems that will be involved in the process we're going to run through. So what we'll do is we'll fill out a loan application as the applicant. The system then will go through. It will take that loan application we fill out. It's going to use document generation from Nintex to convert that into a form that the bank uses that we can then sign. So we'll see that the data we fill in get pushed into the form. It's also going to create a case. So for demo purposes, it's easy. Everybody can get to it because it's browser-based. We're using Box. You can use any backend you want to store files that get uploaded. You can store files in SharePoint. You could do OneDrive. You could do Dropbox. Through RPA, we could put them actually in your own system behind the firewall. Wherever you want to put them, we can do that. But you'll see Box here. After that's generated and the case is created, we'll go out and sign that application. After that, a loan officer will get a notification that they need to review all the supporting documents, make sure everything is complete and correct. If it is, we'll send it forward to populate our custom Bankrite application, which is a custom front end we just built to sort of mimic how we can log in and use a third-party application. You might have an ERP system, CRM system, things like that. And then we'll open up and navigate to the SBA portal. We're not going to log in because the SBA would frown upon us continuing to hammer at their system, but we'll go as far as typing in the username and password so you can see how we can interact with that. And we'll also pull a little bit of data back from the Bankrite form we filled out and email it back to the applicant. So what we'll do is we'll start by filling out a loan application. One of the cool things about ProMap, besides getting this nice role-based, swim lane-based look at the process is I can open it up and look at my particular task to fill out the loan application. And it's got a web link that I can click out and go right to that particular application. So what's nice is I can share this with my users. I can make it with my customers, make it public and say, this is the process you're going to go through. And they can actually click through some of the links to do their parts, which is really nice. So you see it loads up an empty form here asking for things like organization type, DBA, that kind of stuff. So rather than waste time with me filling a form out, everybody's seen that. I've already pre-filled one. I'm just going to scroll up to the top and you can see our DBA is Demo Corp USA and we're a partnership. So just keep those numbers, those names in mind, because we'll see it actually get merged with and generated into the document. Right. We've also got a bunch of yes, no questions you're probably familiar with when you fill out one of these forms. Things like, have you been involved in a bankruptcy? Has the owner been disbarred? Do they have, any disaster loan that they have defaulted on, anything like that, that, we need to make sure we manage. So as we go through here, you'll see those kind of questions. Again, you'll see we've answered no to all of them, but you'll see when we generate the document, these questions and answers get pulled through. The last piece I want to point out here is we also have an area where we can upload any supporting documents. One of the things we keep hearing from banks is there is documentation needs to go along with this, and there's a lot of documents need to be gathered and then verified, and sometimes there's trailing documents. So I'm going to go ahead and just attach a document here. I can attach as many as I want, but as I do attach them, they do need to get moved and stored into the case file. That takes a little bit of time, not a ton, but enough that I just want to do one so we can see it happen. But I don't want to do much more than that as I hit submit here, just so our demo here goes quickly. So it's going to upload that file into the system. So again, that'll take a second, and the more we do, that takes 2, 3, 4 seconds. But that's all. You can already see it's uploaded the file. Now it's submitting out. And it's going to redirect us to a custom location, which is very nice for us. So ours is going to redirect us to the ImageTech Systems webpage here shortly. But you could redirect it anywhere you want. You could redirect it to your bank homepage. You could redirect it to some kind of custom thank you page. You could redirect it back to the ProMap page so that the user, after they submit it, can say, okay, what's going to happen next? What should I be looking for, et cetera. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the navigation here to the ImageTech page, and we'll say, okay, what's going to happen again, right? What's the next thing that we're going to see? So we filled out the loan application. So it's going to go out and it's going to create the case. And I'm not going to show that just yet. When we get down to verifying the supporting documents, we'll have a look at that custom case folder. It'll link us right out to it. We can see the documents that are there, and then we'll go ahead and say, hey, we need more. So it's doing that. It's also at this time generating the document. So it's creating the document, taking the data we entered in the form, it's merging it with a template, and then it's going to go ahead and give us an application to sign. So it's doing that right now. It's building that out. So let me go ahead and head on out over here and let me check my email for my signature notification. So it'll just take a second here. Don't quite have it yet, so we'll just give it a second here, and once more, we'll have a quick look at what the process looks on the back end. So if I go out here to our CARES workflow, we can have a quick look at what this looks like and what the system behind the scenes is actually doing. So again, we have sort of the overview of the process, including the human tasks here. And behind the scenes, again, as the system loads this up, we can see it's gotten out and created the case folder, moving all the files. Right now, it'll be generating that document. So it'll be producing that document right now, getting the URL to that document that it's produced so that it can then send it out for a signature. I do see that the signature document's been created, so I should have that email any second now. And then it's actually going to automatically, through Nintex Sign, detect that the signature's done. So we're using Nintex Sign that's powered by Adobe to go ahead and get that signature. So let me grab the email. There we go. That has the signature, and it just says, you'll see demo use only, but that's just because, again, I'm using a developer account through Adobe to mimic the Nintex Sign action. Same underlying functionality. So I'll go ahead and click it out. And again, you can see we've generated that document, right? So I told you, remember, there's Demo Corp USA, there's Partnership, Demo Corp LLC. So it's taken that data we entered, it's merged it in, right? So there's our ownership data. Again, we answered no to all of those questions. And here are those questions in a different form with the data merged through. And I'm just going to go ahead and drop down here where I can just add a signature. So I'll click here to sign. I signed one recently, so you see my signatures in here. But I can clear it out. So if you just want to see as I sign with a mouse, there's my name, blah, 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 blah. There we go. So I've gone ahead and signed it. I'm going to go ahead and click to sign. So once I do that, Adobe Sign will sign it, and Nintex will automatically get notified. So it's automatically going to work with the workflow to know that I've signed it and move it on to the next step. So once I've signed it, if we flip back to our ProMap, we've signed the application. It comes out and says, wants to verify all the supporting documents. So again, if I click out there and I say, okay, I'm going to review all the documents from the email task form. Okay, cool, and see if they're correct and complete. All righty, so I should get a notification here shortly that I have a new task as the loan officer. You can see it's in the loan officer swim lane to review that. So I've got my notification from Nintex Sign that I've signed. And so any second now, I should get that notification. There we go. And there it is. So I'm going to verify applicant documents. So it says, please review the applicant documents. And it gives me a link right out to that box folder. If they are complete and correct, approve. And if not, otherwise, we will prompt the applicant to provide them. So it gives me a form here to go ahead and fill out. So I'm going to click on it to go out to the form it gives me. And we've seen a really dressed up form. So this one's a little bit more basic, right? It gives me a link out. So I can go out and look at my documents in box. And there's our completed application that we generated. We looked at that already. And then here's that document we attached within the case for Demo Corp USA LLC and all set together. And I'm gonna say, you know what? I need a 1099. So I can approve and just move it forward. But I say I don't have enough. And if I go back to my ProMap, I've got a note here that tells me what if some documents are missing. And it tells me I should select request additional documents to generate a task for the applicant to give me the additional documents. So I flip back over here and I hit request additional documents. It does a couple things for me that are useful from a form standpoint. It's going to automatically show a comment field to let me tell them what documents I need. So I need a 1099, and it's going to make that required. So I have to, if I request documents, it forces me to write them a note. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And once we've done that, we go back to our ProMap, which tells us that if some are missing, it's going to generate a task for the applicant to submit additional documents. So the workflow will handle getting those documents, right? It's going to handle prompting the applicant to give me the documents, retrieving those documents, and putting them in the case file, which is going to be pretty nice for us. So I'm going to go ahead and close out that task, go back over to my email very quickly, and go ahead and hit refresh. And here comes my more loan documents are needed. Again, kind of fills in for what company and everything. And there's my, I need a 1099. So I know what I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and hit supply documentation here. And it's going to hop me out to another Nintex form. And on this form, it'll tell me again what I need to do. So please attach the following documents. I need a 1099. So let me go out to my documents. Oh, I happen to have a 1099. Again, I can attach as many as I want here. I'm just going to throw one of them in here for time again, because I got to do the upload and copy over and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to submit that. And as I do it, it's going to upload the file, submit the task, and then it's going to move to the RPA portion. So this can happen pretty quickly. So rather than see that document right away get uploaded, I'm going to go ahead and open up the RPA desktop, where move my mouse off the desktop. There we go. Where the robot will run. It'll take our data, throw it in that Bankwright app, and then it will generate some values. It'll scrape back off. We'll see it open up Internet Explorer, and then finally we will see it navigate out to the sign-in screen and populate a username and password. So again, this takes a minute because it's got to gather that document that I had uploaded, copied into the case file, and there's the robot kicking off. So here it goes. So it's going to have a number of tasks. Here we just have one task. So the very first thing it's going to do once it loads the bot flow, it's going to start this task, clear out its return variables. So just in case I don't get any mess of old data, and you can see it's supplying a username and password, clicking login, and now those data we filled out in the form is entering into our application. So you see it going there. It's going to click save. It knows there's going to be a pop-up, waits for the pop-up to come up and hit OK. Scrapes off some values we'll go over in just a second. Now it's going to open up Internet Explorer, so this can take just a second. And it opens up, automatically knows it wants to go to the SBA page. So then it's going to go ahead and it's going to click login. And then it's going to click accept, knowing that there's going to be a terms and condition page. We'll see it pass a password in. And there it goes. We'll see it pass in an email address to log in, and there it goes. And again, then we could go ahead and click sign in, and just like you saw it do with the Bankrite app, right? You could see it go through and push data in, click buttons, all those kinds of things. So the final couple of things I want to hit before I let everybody go is I just want to point out we've got some reference numbers here, right? We got our reference number in case we mean the bank, customer reference number here, and an expected approval date. So if I flip back over here to my email one more time, go, and you'll see one more email that I get from the system telling me that the signing task has been completed. It returns to me the bank reference number, my customer reference number, and my expected process date. So again, I've pulled data, not only the robot entered data for me, it pulled it off and allowed me to return it to the customer. So if there's an issue and they need to call in, they've got their bank reference number, they know the date, they've got their customer reference number, all of that data that I generated from the document and then put into the system and then generated from the system is available for me to continue to use downstream through the workflow, which can be very, very useful. And I'm just going to go ahead then also, and if I flip back to my email with applicant documents, just because it's got the link to the case folder, I just want to show you quickly that 1099 that we uploaded, you can see got uploaded as a trailing document and entered into the proper case file. So again, we've managed grabbing that document, putting it together, and making sure it goes with all the documents for that particular case. So again, these two, the beautiful part of this solution too that we really like is these really are blocks that we have chained together, right? But if you don't need the whole suite, maybe you already have a loan process engine, and what you need to do is just manage the public facing form part and just the RPA part, just the part to take that data from the public form and push it into your system that exists. You can just grab those parts. If you just need to manage the documents coming in and put them in the right place, we can just do the form and the document management part. So you really can pick and choose. You can go the whole route like we've shown here, the complete process, or you can pick the parts that maybe apply most to you, which we like quite a bit. So that's the process. Again, we've filled out an application, created a case and a document, signed that generated document, verified the supporting documents were all there. When they weren't, we attached a trailing document to the case. Then we populated our back-end desktop app, opened up the SBA portal, navigated to the login screen. Thanks very much for watching. We very much appreciate it.
Great job. Thanks, Mark. Have a great day.
Yep, you too. Thanks, everybody.